I finally got him. Oh.
You got her wind again.
God. All right, so Chad and I just got up in the saddle stand, as he calls it, because he set this up with 2 Trophyline saddles. Last year, I was super comfortable in the tree we were in. As you can tell by the noise behind us and around us, this is more of an industrial area. Chad had a nice 8-point come in here last night. The wind is perfect because it's blowing right out towards the road. Chad has a food plot down in here that he did. I don't really know what it is. Sugar beets?
No. Green stuff.
Green stuff. I already used my rangefinder to see how far I can shoot out here. And behind me, over here, I have some shots. When we walked in, there's a bunch of treetops over here that Chad said a bunch of doe like to bed under. I didn't see that we kicked anything up, so. We only got about a half an hour left. Things started to pick up just a little bit for us. We had a doe and a button buck underneath us for a while. The doe kept kind of moving around. Button buck was feeding out in the field. Chad just saw ears out in the CRP, but lost them and couldn't tell exactly if it was just a doe or a buck. So we're waiting to see if he or she peeks out, but we only got like 30 minutes left.
All right, it's almost 1 o'clock and Jodi and I are hustling. She ran the deer over to the butcher while I got home and did some laundry and got that footage dumped over to my hard drive from this morning's hunt. And yes, Jodi may be the lucky one because after I shot that buck, when I was doing the interview in the stand, one of the big 8-points showed up. He was standing there with a hot doe. If we have a northwest wind over there when we get there, I got a set of sticks and 2 platforms. Jodi and I are going to climb up. Well, either way, we're getting in the saddle. But if we do have a good northwest wind or even more north, then I really think we can get really close to where I think these doe are going to drag these bucks by. Another 8-point showed up on camera over there, and then there was another 8-point that showed up when Jodi and I were running a little bit of drone footage. So there's really good potential for Jodi to shoot probably one of her best bucks ever. And go figure, the day I shoot my bucks, or the day I shoot my buck, the bucks that I've been hoping to get after daylight for the first time for me. So I haven't even got any trail camera pictures of them. So plan is we're going mobile. It's just a matter of, am I going over to the food plots? Or am I going to try and get this edge where I know they like to bed and then work their way towards this other woods? So we'll find out soon enough.
All right, Chad shot a buck this morning, and as soon as he did, he saw a nice 8-point come into the brush area that he was in, and he had a plan to set up the mini sticks in the saddles, and he said to be real quiet when we came out, so we crossed over, and as he was setting up the sticks, I thought I heard a grunt, and I saw him come down real fast. And he said, grab your bow, and we scooted off. And I just set the GoPro down. There's probably footage of just grass, but I could see his antlers like well above this tall, thick stuff. And so we crouched down and got into a path that he had mowed. And he got almost out into the path. And Chad was at my backside, holding onto my coat, just kind of telling me when to go forward a couple more steps. And I had I could see his head there was still some of that tall grass in the way, and so I had a little better of an angle than Chad did, so I took a shot at him, and we don't know where the doe was. She was out there, around there somewhere, so he saw her trot off, and my arrow must have hit some of that tall stuff, so Chad said he wasn't really scared at that, so he just kind of ran out around that hemlock tree.
Hickory.
Oh, sorry, hickory tree, and followed that doe, and I just, as he was finishing setting up, I saw a buck a little further out chasing another doe. So he's hoping that maybe the doe will come back in here, or another buck will smell that doe or something. There's a couple bucks out here that I would shoot, definitely. So we're gonna sit and hopefully the doe will bring somebody back around. All right, we got up in the stand, pretty quiet again. Chad had said on the way out, he was hoping some of the snow would be knocked off the top of the goldenrod, which it has been, so hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit better if something comes through here. Well, it's still just as windy up here, but we'll just wait and see what comes through. Since we got in here, we've had deer all around us. They just keep popping up out of the CRP. And then when I was looking through my binoculars, I saw a doe, then I saw antlers, and it's so hard. He tries to tell me where he's seeing something. I'm trying to tell him where I'm seeing something. We're using trees as a point to look at, but we're always looking at the wrong tree. Anyways, he was an 8-point, and he came in plenty close enough for me to shoot, but I still have all day tomorrow to hunt too, and I don't think he was one of the big ones, so I passed on him. Big buck. Oh my God. He's huge.
Take your sweet time. Be as slow as you can.
He's right there, fuck.
Huh?
He just ran there.
Did you feel like it went off good?
Yes. So we were over in the tree, and we were...
No, we had the plan. If we seen this happen, we're gonna...
Yeah, if we ended up seeing a big buck, we were going to get down and head over here, but the wind wasn't right for us to sit over here. So we were watching a small buck, a doe, and a fawn, and out of the woods over here, this giant buck came running out. I didn't need my binoculars or anything. I saw him, and I was hitting Chad in the leg saying, big buck, big buck. And I know he was telling me to settle down because I was going to spook the deer that were in front of me. So I got my binoculars and I watched him go back into the woods over here. And honestly,
he cut the creek bed right up there.
The biggest buck I've ever seen hunting.
It's that big 8.
So we waited for a little bit, and Chad's like, do you want to go after that big buck? And I'm like, yeah. So we got down the tree. There was a doe in front of us. He hoped she would come this way, and she did. So we got down.
No, not this way. The other way she went.
Oh, she went the other way?
Yeah, I didn't want her.
Oh, and push her.
Between us and him.
Oh, okay. So anyway, she went the way Chad wanted her to go. And we cut through the CRP and...
probably cut 200 yards off. He's probably about almost 300 yards.
He was like, yeah, so 300 yards, which keeping up with Chad is difficult enough. And then being scrouched down as well. So we got up closer, and I actually said to Chad, why don't you just shoot him because you're going to be better than me. I'm breathing like a freaking crazy woman. And we got over here. He kept looking through the scope. We scooted forward. He had his head down eating in the corn, and I was just watching. And I had to slow my breathing down because I kept watching my sight go up and down. And once I felt like I was pretty steady, I couldn't.
I was like trying so hard. And when you shot, you bumped back into me.
Oh, sorry. And when I shot, I saw him jump up high, and I thought, okay, that's good. And then he kind of jumped again, and then I saw him go into Chad's clover. And I don't know, from there, I'm praying that he just fell and that I didn't miss him or wound him or... So Chad and I were up in the same spot we were yesterday when we saw that big buck out in the field, well, on the edge over here, right into the woods. So after I shot, we went looking and realized probably I just missed him. So I happened to take a glance off to the side here, and I saw a rack. And Chad said he must have been bedded down here the whole time we were here. And he bedded right back down, so Chad thought it'd be a good idea to get down so he didn't get our wind. Our wind might have been what made him pop up. We got down, we walked out, but the grass is just too tall. And I was like, if he has been there the whole time, why don't we just get back up there? Obviously our wind's not bothering him that much. So we got back up. He's still bedded down. I can see his head kind of turning every once in a while, so we're just gonna wait it out and see. I'm, hoping that he stands back up here soon and I can get a shot at him, so we'll see.
Yep. Me. Yes.
Finally.
Hey. Did you just go for yourself?
No, I just can't believe I finally got him. Oh,
He got our wind again.
God.
I think he was comfortable in our wind for a while. Told you it was your buck.
Oh, thank God I passed up that other one, huh?
Yeah. Thank God I didn't give up on the spot.
Yeah, thank God you didn't give up on the spot.
I told you this was a place he likes to come.
And thank God we got back up in the tree, because I was so nervous when we got on the ground. Oh my God, I cannot believe he just dropped right there. Finally. Oh
I thought you scoped yourself. You rubbed.
No, I didn't even feel a gun kick. I tried to get my shoulder up against here just to get extra, like.
What did he do? Just get up all of a sudden?
He just got up all of a sudden, and I was like,
he looked like he's gonna bolt.
I didn't think so.
Right at the end, didn't he?
I didn't think so, but he started.
He's right on the fringe of our wind, like.
He was like
I'm watching snow blow, and it's like. Right
he was walking like straight away from me, and I'm like, shit, he's got to turn, because I got to get a shoulder. Then when you made that noise, it was like perfect because it was just enough of his right shoulder that I could get.
He's right there.
All right, it's been a really crazy season, really fun season. I haven't been able to hunt a whole lot. Derek kicked us off with a nice buck that Chad was trying to get Papa to get. And then Chad got one last weekend, and then it was Chad's mission to hopefully get me one. I really wanted to get one with my bow, but I only can hunt on weekends, so I ran out of time. And yesterday, we didn't see anything yesterday morning but a couple doe, and then last night I passed up like an 8-point, I believe it was. And this guy came running out of the woods, and I personally, me hunting, have not seen this big of a buck in my type of hunting. And we got down, Chad got down, we went over to one of his plots about 200 yards, and I actually tried to hand the gun off to Chad and say, just take him. He's, you know, I know that he would be a shooter for Chad too, so I didn't want to mess anything up, which I kind of did. But definitely by far the biggest buck I've ever shot. Super exciting. When I was in the stand yesterday and saw him run out, yeah, right about here, and the fact that I could see his rack without my binoculars, and then when I put my binoculars up and could see how tall this was going back into the woods, it was, even if I wouldn't have shot him, it was just really, really cool. And I was actually ready to give up because I was freezing. When he went down to go get his camera, he came back and was making gestures, and I thought he was asking me if I was cold. He wasn't, but thankfully I didn't tell him I was cold and didn't cry like a baby and waited it out. Because probably about 20 minutes later was when we saw his rack come out of the CRP. So yeah, honestly, thanks to Chad. I don't like to say thank you very much, or I don't say thank you very much maybe, but